So normally I start out with a super clean face. I always exfoliate hella because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so my skin cycles through very slowly. So I'm typically pretty acne prone, so I take very good care of my skin, and I finally have a good routine. So I exfoliate quite a lot, so my skin is pretty smooth, pretty clean. You want to have a clean base, clean hands. Always have clean hands. I actually don't use a primer normally, but I just got this one, so we're gonna try it out today and see if it is as good as they say. And because I'm acne prone, even though it doesn't look it, trust me, it used to be really bad. And I am acne prone even though it doesn't really look it. That's just because I battled through the trenches and I made it out the other side. But because I am acne prone, every product here is acne safe. Trust me, I used to have really bad acne, like cystic type shit. So everything here is acne safe, so don't worry, I promise. I'm not actually sure how much to use of the primer, so we're just gonna use this amount because I don't know. And I've heard that, oh my god, my face is so red. I've heard that it's better if you tap this one in. So I just smeared it on first and then I'm just tapping it in, because I've heard that's how you activate it or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Okay, just letting that set for a little bit, see if that does absolutely anything at all. The foundation that I use is the Sunset foundation in white. I don't normally use SPF or anything because I'm hyper unemployed, so I don't go outside anyway. But also, it doesn't seem like it reacts very well with SPF. Like, every time I put anything more on my face than moisturizer, it just falls off. Like, no matter how many times I set it, it just doesn't stay put. So if I don't put on anything else, she stays on forever. So we're not gonna do any SPF, but that's just me. Maybe that's just my skin, I don't know. So we're gonna go in with the Sunset makeup and then a damp beauty blender. You don't want it dripping, but you do want it damp. And I usually do 2 pumps of this, 2.5 pumps, depending on how much coverage I need. My skin is actually looking pretty okay today because I'm off my period, so we're looking good. So I use about this much. And typically I just go straight on my face like this. And instead of like smearing it, you're gonna want to tap it all into your face. And I like to focus heavily on the cheeks. And I don't really do too much under my eyes, if at all. Just for this makeup style, I don't do anything under my eyes with coverage. You will see why. It's totally optional. It's just what I do. So we're just gonna do this area first, and here and here. Okay, now that we look like Santa Claus, what was that noise? We only go in with 1 layer right now. We're just doing 1 light layer. We're not packing it up just yet. We're just doing 1 base layer. So because I have big ab piercings, I'm gonna tuck them inside my face and prop these guys out. Obviously skip this step if you don't have these piercings. But if you do, this is what I do. And then I get a tiny little brush and I paint around my piercings before I go back in with my beauty blender. Sorry, there's a hair on this. So I just do like around the piercings like that, and then I go in with the beauty blender on my nose before anything else. And then for the forehead, I mean literally just like to your forehead. I also like to get in between these little cracks right here, just because those are like kind of hard to get into when you have like just a beauty blender. So just paint that on and then beauty blender. So this is about as close as I'll go with the foundation. Like, I'll get in here, but when it comes to my under eyes, I just have creasing like naturally. So I just try to avoid that area as best as I possibly can. You can obviously go to the top if you want to, but me personally, I skip that step. Also, first impressions with this primer, it's actually really nice. It smoothed my face out pretty good, and it seems like it's making the color more opaque, so maybe I would be able to use less foundation. We shall see. And don't forget your jawline, please. Don't forget your jawline, or people will tell you that you look like you're wearing a mask, and it's not funny. Okay, looking very scary now, we have our main base. I like to do it more opaque than this, so I am, and obviously like we got a shit ton left, so I am gonna go with another layer just over everything that we just put down. And I do go over my bald areas on my eyebrows because I'm gonna draw my eyebrows all the way the hell up here, so that needs to be covered. And just a reminder, you do not need to have thin eyebrows to be goth. That's not a necessity. You can rock your natural eyebrows. I personally have pretty giant eyebrows naturally, and I shave them off because that's just my preference. This is just what I personally think looks best on me, what I enjoy more. So also, maybe I should be looking at the camera actually. See, it seems like it's like you can tell the difference in the opacity. So I like it to be stark white. My top lip has completely disappeared, but I wanted to say that you have to be working in layers when it comes to makeup like this. Like, don't just glob it on, because you're just gonna be battling yourself. Like, you're going to be fighting your own work. So you want to work in like smaller layers, nice small layers. You can always build up more, but it's so much more difficult to take it away, you know? Okay, my opinion is set. I'm using a primer for the rest of my life now. Look at how much I have left over. Oh my god, I usually have to put extra on afterwards. My lips, my crusty lips. Okay, and then for the blending, I actually just go in with my finger a little bit and blend it like that, just to like get it in there. And then anything, if you see like finger marks or anything, just go back in with your beauty blender, preferably on the side that doesn't have like a shit ton of foundation on it, because you don't really want to add more, you just want to blend it out. Blending. I do recommend you have a towel on hand though, just for wiping makeup brushes and everything else. And also, if you have like acne spots or anything, you can use like your leftover foundation and then just dab it on there, blend it back out with a beauty blender like I did with the eyes. So now we are going to set it. I prefer to use the Kimchi Chic Puff Pass powder. I like the lavender shade because it cancels out any yellow tones and it just makes it more opaque. They do have a white one. I haven't tried the white one. I've only used the lavender one, and it's fucking awesome. Especially if you have like sensitivity issues, like if you have sensory issues where every time you use a powder it just feels like, ugh, like you just feel like that suffocating feeling on your face. I've never had that with this. Never. Not once. It's super comfortable and it doesn't crease. It's amazing. I recommend it. It's kind of on the more expensive side. It's like 20 something. It's worth it. I promise it's worth it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in the lid. This is gonna be for our eye area and around the mouth. Oh, I just touched my face. Whoops. And then the rest I will put on this puff. I don't normally take off the excess because I kicked that shit on there, but you can do that if you want. So it'll look like this. Dab it a little bit if you don't want that much powder. I like to just press it right onto my face when it's my cheeks. So we're just gonna do the cheeks first. So just straight on there. You want to keep it just in this lower half and get your lower jaw too. So just in this area. So you want to avoid here, and your mouth area just for now. So just do that same on the other side. Okay, now for the chin specifically, I dip it back in when the puff is folded in half. Obviously you can use this for like any type of puff. I just use these flat ones. You can use the triangle ones, and it's the same method. It's just like already pre-folded. You just use the tip of the triangle. So just that, and we're just gonna press it right here. Press it in. Perfect. Now before we set this area, just make sure you don't have any creases or anything. Mine looks pretty good right now. And I don't put any makeup under here, so I don't have to worry about the creases right there. So we're just gonna press it into the lid, just like this. And this is the one where we are gonna, you know, dab off a little bit. Just because if you do too much in your creasing areas, it just breaks. It just breaks the makeup more and it causes bigger creasing. So keep your face nice and flat. I like to start in the middle of my Cupid's bow and press it in, and then just work your way up immediately. And then up into the face. And this stuff is like so opaque. Do you see why I don't use the foundation under my eyes now? It's so opaque. This powder is amazing. It's perfect. Look at that. Boom! And then any excess that I have, oh, I gotta fix up this area before I powder it. Any excess I have on this, I'm just gonna powder my nail. Okay, and then just one last time into the big puff for your, my cat's trying to get under the door, for your forehead. So I just powder all over my whole forehead. It's okay if you get it a little bit on your eyelids too. Okay, now I'm just gonna take a Q-tip and some micellar water and just clean up my piercings so you don't have any makeup on it. You can clean around your lips too if you don't want to have, you know, the crusty lips, but usually I don't. I just fucking leave it. For the sake of the video though, I will clean my mouth up for you guys. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna go into contouring. So I use the You Can Be in shade gray. It's just like a gray eyeshadow. I used to use a palette, but it would just start mixing with the other colors, so I do recommend an individual one. This one's pretty good. It's pretty pigmented. I'm just gonna take an angled dense brush and dip it 1, 2, 3 times like that, and then we're gonna go in on the sides of our face. So let me do. So I don't do the method that a lot of other goths do where they put like a piece of plastic here and then blend it up, just because I don't personally like how that looks on me. I don't have much cheekbone, so I feel like it doesn't really suit me that well. So we're just gonna start at the corner where our ear is and just pack the color on there first and then blend it. Don't smear it because that's gonna smear your base. Just pat it, and I do recommend patting it upwards. And for blending it, I just blend it however. You can blend it down, up, as long as you're like patting it. The patting motion is what like it's best for. Beautiful. And I like to have my face look pretty lifted because I already have a pretty long face, obviously. So I just want it to look more lifted and play into those angles a little bit better. You can bring it up a little further if you want to. My hair just is always covering my fucking face, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so see how that's like nice and lifted? So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, you want to try to get them as even as possible, but like, also I like that I said, you know, I should look right there, and then I just haven't been this whole time, so please forgive me. This is my first video. Which one's better? For my jawline, I like to use a brush like this. I usually just get my makeup brushes from like TJ Maxx or Marshalls. Okay, sorry, the video cut out. You're just placing it underneath your jaw. Just outline where your jaw is. Okay, so your mutton chops are drawn on, so we're just gonna blend it out. This one I will blend down my neck because eyeshadow is like super easy to just clean off when you wash your face. And then I'm just connecting them right here. Okay, that is all I use for this, for the contour. For the rest of my face, we're using an eyeshadow palette because this stuff is way too pigmented. Now I have my busted ass ColourPop palette. This one is Blow and Smoke. I highly recommend this palette. This is like the ultimate. Oh, she's so broken. She's so broken. She's held together by tape right now, so we're just gonna ignore that. It has like all the best shades in it. So we're gonna be using this darker gray one and then this one. So first things first, before I even touch the nose, we're actually gonna go in with a fluffy brush, kind of like this, and go in with the gray. Just two. Always tap, never forget that. And we're gonna go in the hollow of our eyes. So it doesn't have to be hollow like mine. This is just what that part's called, I guess. Just right here. So not anywhere past this, and then just in this area. So we're just gonna pack it in and then blend it like so, because this is gonna be what connects everything. Perfect. Kind of like that. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit further so it's even with our tear duct, and then I bring it up about halfway to my eye so it lines up here and here. So we can see that I've blended it into my eyebrows best as I can, because like you can see where my eyebrow is supposed to be. She ain't there though, so we're just gonna blend it up as close as we can. So beautiful. Okay, just blend it out a little bit more. Just make sure it's nice and good. Don't be afraid of over blending. There's no such thing as over blending. You can never blend too much. So beautiful. Okay, that's done. So now we're gonna work on our nose contour. So I'm gonna go in with a little brush. Oh, she's a little crusty. We're gonna go with a brush like this, flat, kind of dense, and skinny. Okay, so my nose is slightly crooked and big, obviously. So we're gonna go, I have my mirror right here, sorry. So let me see if I can get it right. Angle it right with our nostrils. Yay, the sound got ruined. So I'm just saying that we're gonna go line it up with our nostrils. And I've only dipped it once here, so it's not gonna be super, super opaque. You don't wanna do too much shadow on it. Just blending it out here a little bit down. And we're not going to take any more onto the brush. You're just going to be using your excess amount and putting it right above where I am here. You don't want it to get too far away or too close or it's going to look effing crazy. So I'm just using the excess right here. And then what I'm doing here is starting just directly in the middle of my nose and working it up towards the hollow eyeshadow that we placed earlier. So you're literally just like making a connecting line. And again, just using the excess shadow because you don't want to do a whole bunch of shadow because that's going to be really impossible to clean up. And again, you want to avoid this area right now. We will figure her out. So because my nose is a little bit crooked, as you can see, we're just going to manipulate it a little bit. So you see how this goes inwards slightly more? We're just going to make it the same on this side so it matches up. So when we look at it again, it looks nice and even because my nose goes slightly this way. So we're not going to be following our natural nose lines unless you want to. This is just me personally. I want my nose to look a little bit more even because she's crooked. So instead of following our nose, we're following the horizon, you know. So I'm lining it up this way. Even though she wants to crook this way, you want to follow it this way. Okay, that's looking pretty good now. Now we can take this and just go up slightly. We're just gonna be blending these two together a little bit. Like so. Perfect. And then go back over this a little bit more. Excellent. Okay, now for this next part, wipe off your brush because we're gonna be blending out these lines a little bit more. So instead of going like this, you're gonna be blending it down this way, like this. So this is actually much skinnier than I normally do. I'm looking at myself now. I'm like, wow, this is looking a little crazy. Okay, now finally we're gonna blend it. So I'm gonna use this fluffy angled brush, and I'm gonna be using this color right here. And now we're just gonna blend all this together. Literally just like pack it on just like you're baking. Just like baking with powder. Beautiful. Like that. I'll get up there a bit. And just keep blending it. And it just gets rid of all those harsh lines. So it looks nice and smooth. Look at that. Beautiful. See? Worth it. And then just doing that to the other side. Try not to get my mirror in. But I can't see shish. Okay. Blending. And don't be afraid to like go in with more of that color if you feel like you need more. These colors are really forgiving because they're so light and we have our white face paint on. So also, you do not need to have the white foundation. It's not a necessary step. I just personally like how it looks on me. I like the contrast that it gives. It is not a necessary step in goth. Please don't forget this. And if anybody says otherwise, send them my way. I'll handle them for you, baby. Okay, and then just one more time with this one. Just right across this. Pretty much just everywhere we put that darker gray. Just to blend it out and make it seem more seamless. It looks so skinny right now. Oh, no. And then I don't do too much under here. I just do it enough to blend it all out. And because I have kind of deep set eyes, so this also would work well for people who have like hooded eyes or anything, I don't put any eyeshadow along this because we're gonna be creating our own fold. Okay, next we're gonna contour our cupid's bow and under our lip. You can skip this step if you want. This is just what I do. I love that my audio keeps cutting out. So we're just going back in with the gray and lightly going over just the sides of our cupid's bow and then just directly underneath your lip. And you're just going to be blending it as best as you can before going in with the light gray and blending it further. I'm curious to know how long you guys have been in the scene. I want to know what your what the audience is. I've been in the scene since I was, I want to say 14 years old, and I'm 27 now. Oh! I know, I'm old as fuck, but I'm curious to know if you guys joined the scene recently, if this is your first introduction to the scene. Tell me, please tell me. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the eyes because the whole contour is done now. So I actually prefer this other palette that I got. You can keep using the ColourPop one. That one's fine. I've just had it for so long that the black is like expired. Before we do that, get another fluffy brush and get that same dark gray, or I personally like this like kind of gray purpley one. Tap that out really quick. And if you're having trouble blending, just wipe your brush off on that towel. It helps diffuse the color a little bit better. And honestly, the further down this is, the better. Who cares? Who cares if we look super undead? That's actually exactly what we're going for. So like my natural under eyes, now you can really see them because they were hidden, because we want to look undead and scary. So it's okay. Look at that, beautiful. You can skip this step if you want, as I always say, but I recommend that you don't because it makes the eye makeup look more seamless when we reach the other steps. You will see. Okay, now we can go back in with the black under our eyes. And we're using the dense brush we used for our nose. So we're just placing it right until our pupil when you look straight ahead. So just from the outer part to our pupil. And then next we're gonna take a dense angled brush. I like this one because it's like super thick. Most angled brushes aren't like that. This one is perfect. Going back in with our black, just to tap it off. And then we're gonna be working up from this outer angle up towards our head. So like this, just like that. And then try your best to mimic it on the other side. I like using eyeshadow for this part instead of eyeliner right away, because if you do mess up, you can just smudge her off a little bit and start again. Okay, that's decently even. Now we're gonna go back in with eyeliner and just, so I'm using the NYX Epic Ink Liner for this part specifically. So just go over what we just did. And then when you get to the top, bring it down just slightly. You don't have to make this perfect because we're going to be covering it up with black eyeshadow anyway in a second. Not perfect, but close enough. Now we're going to go back in with this angled brush and black eyeshadow and mimic our false lid. So I like to start up right here, swoop it down, and then bring it up above where our natural eyelid is. So it's gonna look like this, just like that. We're not gonna be using eyeliner on this part just because that can be too heavy. So eyeshadow only, and then mimic it on the same side. I messed up a bit and made this side more oval than this side. So I'm just going back over it with my eyeshadow after wiping it off with a towel so we can start again. So this is what we're working with now. Just like this. Okay, now with that same angled brush, just dipping it back into the black, and we're just going to be filling in this area right here. So this is why it doesn't really matter if your eyeliner is like perfect or not. So bring it out just to about here, just to this outer corner. And for any fallout, I just use a big fluffy brush, make sure it's clean, and then just quick swipe, wipe it again, quick swipe. Because if you just go over it like that, it's just going to smear all over your damn face. So we're just using the angled brush to pack the color in right now. And then we're gonna go in with a dense brush again and really push the color in there. I prefer using just like a dense brush like this. Tap it in, tap your color, don't forget, and then push it into it. You can diffuse it a little bit if you want to, but we are going to go in with a darker gray and just blend it out a little bit better so it looks more smooth. Okay, and then for this second color, I'm actually going to go in with this sparkly one today. You can do literally any color right here. This color is interchangeable. This is just the color I'm using today. It also looks really nice with like red and purple. And just putting it right here and then blending it out. We're not going to go any further than where the color of our eye is though. And normally I don't do sparkly, but I've been into it more lately. It's also really forgiving with blending, so if you have trouble blending, I do recommend like shimmering. Okay, and then going in with a foam, like just the really shitty foam eyeshadow brush thingies. Going in with the white from the ColourPop. I prefer to use this white because it is not flaky or anything. It's very opaque. And we're just packing that color in there. I don't normally tap this one off because I really want it packed in there. And we're just gonna go right here and pack all of that in. Like that. All the way down there. And then we're gonna take it at a bit of an angle. So let's say I'm using it on this angle so I can get it into this little corner here. So just pack it into that corner and then just put it right here so it's nice and bright, and bring it down a little bit like that. And normally I do this twice, so like this is twice, this is once, just to really pack the color in there. Okay, now we're gonna go back in with our dense angled brush with the black, tap it off, and we're just gonna go across our lash line just here. Usually can't get it in any closer than that just because of how my eyes are shaped, and I go in with a dark eyeliner anyway afterwards. Okay, this is what we're looking like right now. So because I use setting spray, I'm not going to be doing any eyeliner yet. I actually go in with my eyebrows next. So we're going to sketch them out. I'm using the Maybelline Express Brow in black, and we're just going to be drawing our eyebrows out. If you have trouble with like eyeliner looks or eyebrows or stuff, it's so much easier if you draw them out first before you go in with ink, because obviously you can't go back. You can't go back with ink. So for my eyebrows, I like to go straight up and then down. Okay, probably can't see them all that well, but they're done. And then I do like to do like vampire type eyebrows, so I like to go from here, and we're just going to be following along that shadow that we had created earlier, like so, and just like that. See? Okay, so at this point we are going to set our face, because if you go in with eyeliner it can smudge a little bit, you know, like this is fine, I've never had issues with that, but I'm so worried about messing up my eyebrows. And I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible. It's basically hairspray. I don't recommend you use actual hairspray in your face, but what do I know? And then just let that dry. It dries pretty quickly, so I like that one. And then for sketching it out, I'm going to be using the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus liquid. I like this one because it's not as flimsy as the e.l.f. one. I will use the e.l.f. one for like detailed eyeliner looks, but this one's really good because it's like super stiff. So just make sure it's nice and cleaned off with excess, and then we're just gonna go in and outline everything that we have. Okay, and then we're just gonna be doing the outer part. I like to do this in one fluid motion. This can take time, just keep practicing it, but it looks better if you just do it in one quick thing. Like so, and then just touch it up however you need to. And if you have any mess ups, I actually do use the ColourPop white eyeliner, and I just touch up where I need to clean it up a little bit to make it look more crisp. Now we're gonna go back in with that same eyeliner and we're gonna do our inner corner liner. So just start here. I like to start down here, but if you're a beginner, I do recommend you start here and then work your way down. And then just bring it up like this. So it'll look like that. And then I just go over it again to darken it up a little bit. And I also bring it up here to that part we couldn't get earlier, unless you were able to. And if you have trouble with this, make sure your elbow is stable on something. If you're just like, you know, going around, it's gonna be wiggly looking. So keep your elbow on a flat surface when you're doing stuff like this. And again, clean up it all with either concealer, foundation, or little brushes and stuff. Okay, now it's time to darken things up again. So we're gonna go back in with our angled brush in the black. And I'm just gonna go right underneath this part and bring it down slightly. And then just blend that out. And we're gonna do that until we're happy with the pigment. So we're just connecting our faux eyelid right there, just connecting. So it'll look like this. I'm gonna go back in and get it a little bit darker right where it meets. And we can take that dense packing brush that we used in this corner, make sure it's cleaned off first, and just blend it out slightly, just so it's diffused better. And then I just go back in with this one and blend it out just a little bit further so it's smoother. Okay, last step with this brush. Black one more time, and we're just gonna go right where this corner meets, darken it up a bit, and then drag it along our lash line slightly just to darken that up a little bit more. You can take it down as far as you want to as well. I'll take it down a little bit further today because I want it dark. And if there's any disconnect as well, now is a good time just to fix that up a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so the eyeliner and everything is done. Eyeshadow's done, so we're gonna go in with mascara now. I like the L'Oreal Voluminous Charcoal mascara. So I've just done one quick coat on my top, but for the bottom, we want to do our eyelashes like regular, but you're gonna avoid this area that you have the white. So everything else here, put mascara on. Okay, we're gonna do our eyelashes. At least just apply the glue for right now, let it sit. I'm using these big ass ones. These are the Fangciton ones. I just get them online. They're just cheap ones. And for the lash glue, I use the Duo one with the little wand applicator. Okay, we're just gonna let these sit for a little bit and then do our highlighter while we're waiting for that. So for highlighter, I like to do the Pixie by Petra color in Crystalline. It's technically a liquid eyeshadow, but it's like the best highlighter ever. So just a bit on the brows and blend her out. And also make sure your fingers are clean before you go in with this, or else you're gonna get your eyeshadow all over the place. And I like to do on my cheek. Also make sure your fallout is cleaned up here, or else it's gonna get all over the place. Look at that. So pretty. And then a bit on my nose. Just where this is. You probably can't even see it. Sometimes I'll do it up the side too. I have been doing that recently, so we'll do that today. Fuck it. And then just a little bit right here. So pretty. Okay, so for our eyelashes, you're gonna need a pair of tweezers. And we're gonna start out, I always start out with my dominant hand just because it's easier. This is the foolproof way of putting on eyelashes, especially if they're really uncomfortable for you. So I never put mine past the color of my eye. So as you can see, the color here, you're gonna just match it up with that. Because if you put it closer towards your tear duct, it just hurts. It just starts pinching. And then I put it up just slightly above because of my downturned eyes. It makes it look a little bit better. Perfect. You don't have to do that. That's just what I do. Especially because it's more comfortable on my eyes that way. Because when I do it downturned and I put it along my natural eyelash line, it just looks crazy. It just looks weird. Okay, and then you're just gonna pinch the inner corner to your eyelash line so it looks more seamless. And it helps it stay a little bit better. And don't worry about this glue. It'll dry clear, so you don't have to worry about that if it's not fully dry yet. Okay, now onto the lips. I just make sure my lips are nice and dry, and I'm gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof liquid eyeliner. So I just follow where my natural lip line is, so it's like underneath the makeup right now, but I have a cupid's bow here, so I just start with my cupid's bow and draw 2 lines like that, and then just connect them like this. Fill it in a little bit, and then just connecting everything together like that. And my lips like naturally go in a little bit, so I'm just gonna go back over it and make it a little bit more rounded. Okay, now we look like Gomez Adams, so we're gonna connect our bottom lines together. I just go straight across my natural lip line that you can't really see because it's underneath the makeup, just like that. And I am gonna show you guys how to diffuse your lips with 2 different colors today too, just because I know that one's gonna be requested probably. So you're just gonna go around your lips with your black lipstick, and I'm using the NYX XXL lingerie in black, and just go around your lips like this, and then just taking a flat brush like this, we're just gonna diffuse a little bit around where you put the black. And then I'm gonna go in with my second color. We're gonna use the Maybelline Superstay in the color 340 Exhilarator. And these ones are good. They're kind of sticky, so just do 1 single layer. Just 1 light layer like this. Just everywhere that you don't have the black. And while that's still wet, just diffuse it into the black. And then while that's drying, I'm just gonna go in with my beauty marks that I have naturally with the same black eyeliner that we used earlier. Oops, that was a little bit big. Make this one bigger. Like that. Okay, let me get situated really quick and then we can go to the final. Okay, and this is the final look. This is just for a base routine, so obviously if you want to add more details like stitches or webs or whatever, you can do that. This is just the basic one. If you guys have any questions, please comment them, let me know, or DM me on Instagram, anything. But I hope you enjoyed it.